Good evening, good evening, good evening, and good evening once again. My name is Latricia Sharice Wilson, missing person investigative journalist, social justice activist. Tonight, we will be hearing from Diamond Bynum's mother. Diamond Bynum's mother on tonight. Our guest is Shann Walker, and we will be hearing from her. She will be joining the stream in just a moment. So I'm waiting on her to join the stream as she will be joining again in just a moment here. And so I want to recap on sharing details with you regarding the disappearance of Diamond Bynum and King Walker. July 25th of 2015, Diamond Bynum and her nephew, King Walker, disappeared without a trace. Finally, 6 weeks later, a silver alert was issued. Where are Diamond and King Walker? To start with, Diamond Walker has developmental disabilities. She is diagnosed with Prader-Willi Syndrome. To explain this condition, consists of short stature, constant feelings of hunger, and a mental disability. Diamond has the mental capacity of a 5 to 7-year-old. She also has difficulty speaking. On July 25th, Diamond and King were at her home in Gary, Indiana. She lived with her father and her stepmother. They also were babysitting Diamond's nephew, King Walker, and they'd seen King Walker often, especially on the weekends. Diamond's stepmother awoke from a nap to find the two gone. She believed that they had been headed a few blocks away to a local store. However, Diamond never went far from the home she shared with her father and stepmother. They recently moved from Hammond, Indiana. Therefore, she wasn't very familiar with the area. Immediately, the family began to search around the area of the home Diamond and King went missing from. The day they went missing, July 25th of 2015. Authorities never issued an Amber Alert for King Walker, although they eventually did issue a Silver Alert for Diamond. The two had been spotted or seen in Gary, Indiana, after they were reportedly missing. However, this was not proven. They were also seen in or on Chicago's south side, or the south side of Chicago. Untimely, they are still missing. At the time of their disappearances, Diamond was 21 and King was 2 years old. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Diamond Bynum and King Walker, please call the Gary Police Department at 219-881-1260. Miss Walker will be joining this live stream in just a moment. She will be joining this live stream to discuss the alleged sightings of Diamond Bynum and King Walker. She will be discussing reported sightings of Diamond and King after the date of July 25th of 2015. I'm going to, as I wait for her to join, I am going to share this specific live stream. I'm sharing the live stream now, and I am going to share it to a few groups. So I am sharing this live stream, and I am inviting you to share this stream as well. If you have an interesting comment, that comment will be selected and displayed in the live viewer comment section underneath the StreamYard logo. Okay? So I am sharing this live stream right now. I am waiting right now for Miss Walker to join this specific live stream. So waiting on her to join. Tagged Northwest Indiana Happenings. I'm sharing this live stream with Gary Indiana. I am now moving on to share this live stream with Chicago Girls Missing and Current. Okay? So I've shared this live stream with a few groups, and I am sharing this live stream with the Dark Side GI group that I am a part of. Sharing this live stream with Team Rebuild Gary. Okay? So Team Rebuild Gary. There are a total of 8 shares. And she was supposed to be joining me right about now. So I'm alerting her to let her know that I am live right now. Okay? You can share this live stream to any missing persons group or other organizations, organizational groups you may have joined or are a part of. Okay? So I definitely invite you to do that. Okay? Which is to share this live stream. I'm sharing it myself, and I'm waiting on Ms. Walker to join. There are numerous sightings I and Ms. Walker will discuss this evening, and she will be sharing this evening information she received regarding those sightings and the details shared with her. Okay? So she will be discussing that. I don't know if she realizes that I am now live. So I'm going to send her a message right now to remind her to join the live. I'm messaging her now. Click on the link now. And so I'm messaging her now and inviting her to click on this specific link so she can be routed backstage, okay? Thank you so much for taking time out to join this live stream on tonight. So we're just waiting on her, and while we wait on her to join, I want to inform everyone that the disappearance of Diamond and King has been indeed a stressful, the lengthy disappearance. It's been indeed a very stressful circumstance. It's a stressful situation that Diamond and King's family has been dealing with. Two mothers have been affected or impacted by Diamond and King's disappearance. Two mothers. The first mother is Shann Walker. And then the second mother, who has experienced trauma and grief, is Ariana Walker. So I'm waiting on her to join this stream right now. Maybe I should place a call to her to let her know that I am live right now. So that's what I'm going to do right now. It is now 7:41 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you so much for taking the time out. Yes, you can click on the link now because I'm live. Okay. All right. All right. So I just notified her that I am live right now, and we will begin discussing the sightings of Diamond and King in just a moment here. Okay. So we will be discussing the sightings of King and Diamond in just a moment. Okay. Before she comes or joins this specific live stream, I am just going to take time out to share this live stream in a few other places. So I've already shared the live stream with several groups, and so I'm just attempting to share this live stream and other designated areas as well. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream, and sharing is caring. We have 6 shares so far, and so hopefully those shares will, the number of shares, hopefully will go up. Okay. And so I have her here right now. All right. I'm adding her. Hello, how are you doing tonight?
Hello, I'm good. And you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I thank you so much for taking the time to join this stream. I know it's not too late in the evening, but it's been a long day, probably for you.
Yeah.
So if you want to make
Yeah,
any adjustments, get comfortable, switch your seat, anything that you'd like to do, you can do that right now. You're good and comfortable.
yeah.
Okay, great, great. So thank you so much again for taking time out to join this stream on today. I know that you have experienced a lot of trauma and grief um, as you've been trying to find out where your daughter is, where your grandson could be. In the previous conversation we had, it was a previous StreamYard. We discussed, the details that was shared with you when Diamond and King first went missing, and I believe we discussed search efforts. There were efforts to, search for Diamond and King, but those efforts were unsuccessful. And just discuss the role that law enforcement played in investigating the disappearance of King and Walker. So it was a pretty lengthy conversation. Tonight, we will be discussing sightings of Diamond and King. You did share with me, in a phone call we had, there had been several sightings of King and Diamond, and this was after the date of July 25th. Is that day correct?
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah.
After that date, there have been sightings of them, and so before we go into the sightings, if you like to talk about how you are feeling right now about, you know, knowing that you've been desperately searching for Diamond and King for 6 years as of today's date. How has that made you feel as a mother?
Um. Oh God, to put it in words, it's really hard. It's tiring. It's frustrating. It's heartbreaking. It's um. I just never imagined that in a million years that something like this would ever happen. Um. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Um. It's just it's so hurting the fact that they've been missing for 6 years, and it just feels like to me like don't nobody care, and everybody just going on with their lives, and Diamond and King is somewhere out there, God knows where, and I can't find them. I've done everything in my power to try to get help to find them, and I don't know. I just feel like I'm screaming in a room and don't nobody hear me. Like um, it's really, like I said, it's hard to find words, but I just can't sleepless nights, the just tiring days, just always just when they always on my mind when I'm out driving. I just take it upon myself to go drive around where I got tips and where they were last seen. Just I don't know, and the fact that I feel like I'm doing it by myself is even worse. I don't know. I just can't wait till this nightmare is over, and I don't know what to do to bring it to an end. Like I just ask for help and from my Facebook friends and stuff, and I do lives like this. I don't know if you see my page. I did a lot of lives, and like I only see a few people on there, and everybody say, "Yeah, I'm praying for you" and stuff. I understand. I appreciate it, and I know prayer changes things. But God said prayers without work is dead. You got to do something too. You can't just. I don't know. I don't know.
And you said that you felt or you're feeling as though you're doing this alone. Can you explain or go into details and why you feel that you're doing this alone? What makes you feel that way?
because I feel like, the family should be working together during this time, and I guess that's my feelings about it. Maybe everybody can't handle things the same way. Um, Unfortunately, me and Jean can't come together with it. Ariana isn't able because I guess she feels as though she don't like the way I handle it, the things that I do. She feels that it's a waste of time trying to keep doing it on the news and the media and stuff like that. Like it's not helping anything. And true enough, it's been 6 years and I'm still doing it, and I haven't got any results. But I feel like I'm not gonna stop because until I get results, I'm gonna do everything in my power to try and keep their name out there, so that maybe it run across that one person that have answers or is connected to someone that has answers or something. So um, that's the reason why I just feel like I'm doing it by myself, because I really don't have nobody helping me with it. I'm just out here trying to find ways of keeping it out. The media said they can do it only on the anniversary and the birthdays. So every time I get an opportunity, I, you know, call them up and tell them I want to, do an interview for, that everybody know they're still missing.
So they're I guess because they've been missing for such a long period of time, or not wanting to do the regular, interviews, or have just regular discussions and reports on Diamond and King. Generally, you're able to get the media or convince them to report around the anniversary of their disappearance. That's what you're saying, or on birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it seems like you want a lot more. That's what I'm feeling from you in terms of the media. And if, I mean, would I be correct in assuming that? Is there more that you would like local media to do to investigate or figure out what has happened? You can share your thoughts.
Yes, of course, I want them to do. I feel that they should start the case all the way from the beginning, because there's a lot of areas that they missed. First, because they said they had to be missing 24 hours, which is, I don't understand for a 2 year old and a special needs lady. I don't, well, you would call her a special needs child because she has the mind capacity of a child. So that's basically two babies missing. So why can't we get someone to start searching them before 24 hours? Then why couldn't we get the Amber Alert for King? It's so questionable. Like, I don't understand why we couldn't get it. Um, and after that, it took so long to get the Silver Alert for Diamond. That's ridiculous. And even to that point, um, when they were missing in Chicago, getting tips from Chicago, um, didn't nobody take it serious. Um, there should have been a set of detectives working on it in Indiana, and maybe a set of detectives looking at it in Chicago as well when they got tips from Chicago. Because the people that told me they saw him in Chicago, they sounded like they really seen him. It didn't sound like, oh, that's just somebody I saw. And they didn't sound like they were just making something up. Um, there was one sighting on 111th at the White Castle. The guy that I talked to that saw him there, he said things that they didn't even say on the on the media, on the news or anything. Um, he said something about her teeth. No one ever mentioned anything about her teeth, and he said she smiled. She smiled at him, and that's something that's known about Diamond, that she smiles. And unless you really ran across her, you wouldn't really know that. You would just say how she, what how she was made or something like that. But that's something that's definitely about her, that she will smile. She smiled a lot, and when she smiled, you will notice her teeth, and um, that's what caught me, like really caught me off guard. Like he had to really see her.
Right.
No one else said anything about her teeth. It was someone, a couple people that saw her in the park. Um, and I went out there. What was that, day before yesterday? Or yesterday? Yesterday, was that yesterday? I think that was yesterday. And asked around the store that the guy seen them at and saw her with the white lady. That guy is no longer working there.
Okay.
Um, and then I walked around and I saw a couple other people, and it was a guy that was there some years ago that remember when I was passing out flyers, and his girlfriend was the one that actually told me she saw him. I mean, she saw her, that somebody was prostituting her. It was his girlfriend that saw it, but unfortunately, God rest her soul, her girlfriend was killed in Roseland. So I wasn't able to talk to her. But she was the one that told me that they were prostituting her. So I didn't really get to talk to too many people, but um, it was a guy that I saw out there that said he thought he saw King. And he said um, he looks like the picture, the age progression picture.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he looked like he seen him, but he was asking somebody could he ride somebody's bike or something. And I got his
This was in
information.
what area? The where someone felt as though they saw the age progression photo of him. Like, where was
How he
this?
looks now.
Yeah, how he looks now. Where was this sighting at?
That was in Roseland, in
As well.
what's that, Palmer Park? I think it's called Palmer Park.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the same part. I think it's called Palmer Park. It's on 111 King Drive,
Okay.
but that's where the sightings were before.
Okay.
And he's like, I would. He said, if I didn't know no better, I would really think that was that boy. And he said, but he's gonna check on it, and he's gonna see, because he said whoever that little boy is, he's frequent in that park.
Hmm. So he sees them regularly in
Mm-hmm.
the park. You know the name of the park?
I think it was Palmer Park. I ain't write it down, but it's on 111 King Drive.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but he said the little boy is frequent at that park,
Okay.
and it was a friend of his that he was asking could he ride the bike, and and his friend was like, no, you can't ride my bike. You got to get your own bike. And he's like, he kept asking, can I ride your bike? Can I ride your bike?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I explained to him. I said King would be about 8 now. He would be 8, and I don't know what height. I don't know, you know, his height right now, but he said he looks to be about 8 years old. So he said I got his information, and he would call me.
Okay. I'm going to go back a bit because I'm pulling out my notepad. I've been taking a lot of notes and doing a lot of research uh, on the disappearance of Diamond and King. And so I did take notes on Pacific sightings. So Pacific sightings, and I want to talk about those sightings. There were like in Pacific locations, Pacific places, and I want to talk about that tonight. I gathered this information from media outlets, missing person organization sites. So I was able to gather information, enough information to make a note on Pacific areas Diamond and King had frequently been seen in, and this is all alleged because police had not confirmed this, unfortunately. And so let's start with Gary. I want to go back a bit. So there was a sighting the day Diamond had went missing in Gary, Indiana. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
That day, that sighting was one of the first sightings you learned of from what we discussed on over the phone. I believe that sighting was at the McDonald's, and I know where it is, off of Owen Fifth Avenue in Gary,
Mm-hmm.
Indiana. Can
Yeah.
you share how you learned of this sighting and who you spoke with regarding the Gary, Indiana sighting of Diamond and King?
We was at the McDonald's on Fifth, and because we go in there where we're searching. I usually just go in there to use the bathroom or something, or take a break or whatever. And we asked, we were showing the flyers to I believe it was one of I don't know if it's a manager or just a worker, a regular worker. But they said they saw them come in there and they was asking for food. But the police went in and they did the cameras. They searched the cameras, and they didn't see them on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out later, maybe some years later, a couple of years later, that that wasn't the McDonald's that supposedly they were seen in. So I don't understand. But the girl said she saw him in there. So I don't know. But they said it was a sighting in another McDonald's, which was in Miller.
Okay, I know where that is, Miller, Indiana. I'm definitely familiar with where that is. I ride past that McDonald's all the time in Miller,
Yeah.
Indiana. So, who told you specifically that they were seen at that McDonald's in Gary, Indiana? And we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that there are a lot of people tuning in. We're discussing the very first reported sighting of Diamond and King. So if you can share, like, who told you that they were at that McDonald's at first? Did someone reach out to you, or did you go into like that McDonald's and someone say, "Hey, we seen them in here"?
I know I had went in there and talked to them, but I believe someone else told someone else about it, and we went to the McDonald's. I don't remember whether I don't know if they told us first or they told someone else. But I believe we was I don't know if we was driving because it was so long ago. I try to remember everything, but I just remember going there and talking to someone, and they said they saw him in there, and I remember talking to the girl that said she saw him in there asking for food.
In the McDonald's on Fifth Avenue in Gary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, so you do remember having that conversation. You later learned there was an alleged sighting of Diamond and King in Miller, Indiana, right? That's what
Mm-hmm.
you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the person that told me about that was it was my ex boyfriend's. He found out later on that was his cousin or something that lived. They live in some apartment buildings over there, because my ex boyfriend's daughter lived over there, and and he said I saw them the first day. Well, he didn't know whether it was the first day they were missing because he didn't know they were missing. First of all, he said I remember seeing her, and when I found out later that they were missing, it broke my heart because he said something told me I should have said something to her, but I didn't know that she was missing. And he said, well, if she would have maybe talked to me or conversated with me or something, I would have asked her if she needed help or anything. But he said she didn't really say anything to him, so but he could tell like she was special needs or something, and she had the baby by the hand or something. And he said they was walking past the drive through, and they was just steady walking down the street. And he said, but then he just went on ahead where he was going.
Right. Okay. Because he didn't know that they were missing at the time or had been
Mm-hmm.
missing. But he does remember seeing her with King. And this was at a McDonald's in Miller, right?
Mm-hmm.
And okay, this person you spoke with, did they reach out to you or did you reach out to them regarding the Miller sighting? Do you remember how that conversation came about?
The conversation came about because, like I explained, my ex-boyfriend's daughter lived in Miller,
Okay.
and um, I guess her father, I mean, my ex-boyfriend and the guy, they just happened to be conversating, and then I guess, and when my ex-boyfriend, he would always tell everybody about Diamond and King being missing, and he showed them a flyer, and that's when he told him about her, about his when he seen her. So it was just a conversation between them, I guess, and then he called me and told me, he was talking to him, and then he started talking to me about what he saw, and he said ever since then, he said it's been like really hurting him and bothering him the fact that he didn't call anybody, but he said he didn't know that they were missing.
Yes, and I know other people reportedly said the same. They made the same statement, is that they just did not know. And, they may have done something a lot different, you know, other than just walk past them or drive past them had they known that they were missing. And so that's what I've gathered as well through various conversations that I've had. Um, with individuals regarding this specific case. And so was this these sightings these sightings occur, both of those sightings occurred in 2015, the year she went missing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In 2015. So now I want to move on. There were several cities, so I want to discuss each city your daughter and your grandson was reported missing in. So the next city I saw reported is East Chicago, Indiana, and there was a media outlet, a few reporting that there were sightings there. Do you recall anyone reaching out to you saying that they saw Diamond in East Chicago?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. Okay. So that may be some information they gathered from other individuals, but I did see that, so I wanted to discuss with you that alleged or reported sighting, just to find out if anyone had personally reached out to you. Now, about East Chicago specifically. So Let's move on to Hammond, Indiana, which is closer to Chicago. Um, well, you have Gary, then you have Chicago, and then Hammond. I believe, if I'm in terms of the uh, order before you get to Chicago. I hope I'm saying that right. And so the Hammond sightings, there were reportedly sightings of your daughter and King and Hammond. Did anyone reach out to you to tell you they saw uh, Diamond and King in Hammond, Indiana?
Yes. The weird part about the Hammond part is it was a lady that she was calling me anonymous, and she was telling me different sightings and stuff. She was like, "Well, um, someone told me they saw your daughter in Hammond. That she was asking for. They gave her some money. They're supposed to have gave her $50 or something, and she was telling me, you need to go get your daughter and you need to take her home and take care of her and stuff." And I was like really trying to find out who this lady was, because I was like, it's kind of weird, like, because the way she was talking to me, like kind of like she knew her, or she knew something that was happening. I don't know. It was kind of strange. And so I was trying to look it up. I don't know how I looked her number up because she called anonymous.
Mhm.
But somehow I eventually found her number, and then I found her address. And coincidentally, she lived in Hammond, a block away from where they used to live. And I started snooping around. I just really got like a detective, and I went to her house, and I met her. I didn't tell her at first who I was, um, but I met her, and I was like thinking she was kind of strange, because she told me that's when she told me someone saw her in the Renaissance. I don't know if you remember the sighting in the Renaissance building, right? So she was calling me and telling me these people that she supposedly knew seen my daughter in the Renaissance. And she said, she gave me the specific spot that she's supposed to have been in, the specific building, and she said she sits out there every single day. And she was giving me details that it was kind of strange. So she was like, well, I want you to go in there and then go to the specific building. She gave me the number of the building and everything. And she said, just walk past like you really don't know her. When you see her, just walk past. Don't say hi to her. Don't say nothing to her. Just walk past. And I didn't see her. So she was like, well, go the next day. And she said, don't, she said, go at, she was telling me a specific time to go. And so I went, and she's like, don't forget, if you see her, don't say nothing to her. Just walk past, because whoever, the person that got her, they're going to move her somewhere else if they realize that you know where she is. So, okay, I played it off trying to walk, but I never saw her. So, I kept going, but then eventually I started seeing Gary Police Department going over there. And I was like, so other people got the tips too. So I don't understand. She made it seem like I was the only one that knew. She was the only one that telling me. So I guess apparently I don't know how it went out. But then after that, that's when they said that somebody saw her get on a bus. So, but in all of the sightings kind of made sense, because they was like in a order. Like when they was in Gary, then they was seen on the bus first. I don't know if that was on the media. They were seen on the bus in Gary, Indiana.
Yes.
Then they were seen in Hammond. Then they were seen in Hammond on the bus. Then they were seen in Roseland getting off the bus. So it was all like they were moving.
So
And
this,
then when we
oh,
saw
go,
them
yeah.
after we saw them in Roseland, it seemed like that's when they moved to Blue Island.
Mhm.
Then we started living, looking at Blue Island. It's just like whoever it was that got them, they was moving around.
Okay. With King and Diamond, because
Mm-hmm.
you were getting reports from individuals saying they were seeing both of them together, right? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You I don't know if you can tell me, what there times when people just reported seeing her only?
Well, they wasn't necessarily reporting it. They were like I was walking around with the flyers, like passing out the flyers. Like I went to Roseland in the daytime. I tried to go different times. I went early in the morning. I went in the afternoon. I went in the evening. I went late at night. There were times where I was out there at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So, I went all different times of the night, especially when they said they had her prostituted. I figured prostitutes come out 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. They be out there when everybody else sleep. So I was out there driving around then, um, trying to see if I see anybody. And that's when I saw a young lady that was doing it, and that's when she told me, to go to the police station because it was a guy that do prostitution or whatever, and he had got locked up and stuff, and he would to ask the police what to ask him what did he do with her, but they wouldn't give me no information on him. So we just kept looking, and the weird part, what made me stop looking, is because um, eventually we saw it was a young lady that actually lived in Rose. I guess she lived in Roseland, and she kind of favored Diamond. She looked a lot like Diamond, and um, they were saying that could have been the girl that they were mistaking her for. So I don't know, because she didn't have a baby. That didn't make sense because Diamond was seen with King of numerous times. So I don't know, but that's
Oh,
what kind of threw it all off.
okay. And when you saw this other young lady resembling your daughter, you assume that all of these sightings may have been a case of mistaken identity. However, it, it, there are still questions in your mind regarding these sightings, because you were told specific details about your daughter, and
Mm-hmm.
you were told that your daughter was with King, 2-year-old King, at the time he was 2 years old, and you were told specific, enough information to lead you to conclude that these people had definitely seen and come in contact with your daughter. Is that correct?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it was several times where she was seen with the white lady. Um, they were seen with the white lady in the grocery store, in the little store. They were seen with the white lady, and at the park, with the white lady, that they were putting King on the swings or something. Someone said they saw them over there with the white lady, and then there was somebody in her building that said they saw her and her friend with her. Her friend got King and took him to her house, which she's supposed to lived on the north side, and the white lady had Diamond, which she was supposedly be the one that brings that guy, the I guess the pimp or whatever you want to call them, that the ones that do trafficking. I don't know if he trafficking or just have the girls out on the street. I don't know which one it is, but she supposedly bring girls to him, and they said she took Diamond back upstairs to her apartment, and it was a young lady that specifically told me this, and she was saying she knew that was them because she said King was screaming, he was crying because he didn't want to leave Diamond.
Okay. So he was screaming, and someone seeing them being broken up from each other is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Being escorted, and this was in Chicago. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
It happened in Chicago. Someone seeing an individual they believe to be your daughter being escorted in a Chicago home or apartment building. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And and then I just want to get a clear understanding of who took King or what was happening with King. Did a different person walk off with King? I'm not understanding.
Yeah. The according to them, they said the girl named Trina. It was a girl named Trina, the white girl named Trina. She was from Indiana, or her sister or somebody was from Indiana. And her friend name was Nikki, and she's supposed to have King.
Okay. Okay. Trina was pretty much, I guess, um, overseeing Diamond, reportedly a white lady named Trina. And then there was another person. Can you tell me her name once more so everyone can catch her name? Get her name. The other person that
Nikki.
had King. What was that person's name?
Nikki.
Nikki. Okay. I'm writing it down too. Nikki was caring for King is what you're saying? A different person was caring. Was this person white, black? You know the race of this person?
They said she was black. She was a black girl.
Black. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There are a lot of sightings, and I'm making notes of those sightings. And there was a lot of different information shared with you. I know you told me a lady called you saying that she had seen Diamond and that Diamond was, well, she said that others saw Diamond, right? And Diamond was allegedly being prostituted in Hammond, Indiana. This is before they arrived in Chicago. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Diamond had been seen in the Renaissance building out
Right.
in Hammond. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I know this is a question that you may ask yourself. Why do you think you just never ran into your daughter or saw your daughter, being that she had been seen so frequently? Seems like they were seeing them on a frequent basis in Hammond and in the Roseland neighborhood out in, on the south side of Chicago. Why do you think it was so difficult for you to just simply, you know, stumble upon her or see her, and you were out there at different times trying to find her? That's just a question I have for you.
I don't know, cause it was seeming like we was just missing each other every single time I run across somebody that seen her. It would just be like seem like minutes away or something. Cause like when I was going to Roseland, when I went to the McDonald's, and I was going down each block, and I was passing out flyers to anybody I see outside. I was asking people did they see her and stuff like that. And when I went to one particular block, this is like a block west, I mean east of Halsted, and it was in the hundreds. And this lady was like, "Yeah, I saw them not that long ago, walking down the street." And I was like, "But who was they with?" walking down the street, and she was like, I don't remember, but I remember seeing her and a boy, a little boy, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I'm like, you can't recall who they was with, but you can recall them. And and it was a time like on 107 over there by, let's see, it was past Michigan. And there
Mm-hmm.
was several people around there when I was going up and down the blocks saying they saw her. There was several people. And when I went down Michigan and to the stores, it was a steakhouse. The people that worked there said they saw her come in the steakhouse. I'm like, why would she be coming in the steakhouse? But I guess she was asking for food. And they said she came in there and she actually had money. So somebody gave her money to buy food.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she came in alone. She didn't come in there with nobody. So I guess if she come into an establishment like that, they probably sent her in there by herself, knowing that they might have cameras. I don't know, but I don't even think the police even checked that one out when I was telling them all the sightings. They were
Okay.
just they were just basically like looking over what I was saying, because during that time, that was during the time that that was the time that they was getting a story in Gary about Terrence supposedly, you know, I don't know if you remember the
I
part where
read,
they
I
were
read,
staying in the house and all that other type of stuff. So that was like during the same time.
I read that there was a Terrence that was considered a suspect, and
Yeah.
he's no longer considered a suspect. Um, or we may have to, I guess, go in depth with, why he was considered unless you just want to briefly talk about why this individual named Terrence was considered to be a person of interest or a suspect in the disappearance. Do you know why? Did police explain to you why this
They just said it was some people call in and said that supposedly, I don't know if it was real or not, but that it was some people call in without saying that he did. But apparently, I don't know, they let him go, so I guess he didn't have anything to do with it.
so there were just people accusing him of abducting her and King. They didn't say they seen him with her or anything like that.
Um, it was some sightings that they some people said they saw them with him, but um, I don't think they had any proof or anything that they were seen together. So I don't know. It's That's what I said. Like with all the tips, which is kind of hard to know whether to believe them or not, because we never came up with any proof. So I don't know how whether to believe it or not.
Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, that's because you didn't find Diamond, you didn't see her yourself, and no relatives or family members of Diamond reported encountering her. So I will understand why there will be some doubts in your mind regarding whether all of the sightings were credible sightings or not. What I found to be interesting in all of this is that you personally spoke to people, individuals in Chicago who hadn't been keeping up with, the news. At least they didn't know. that Diamond had been reported missing, and you had conversations asking them, have they seen your daughter? And, or I guess you showed them photos or something, and they said they'd seen her. This was without having knowledge that there's this huge missing persons case coming out of Indiana. So I found that to be interesting. What do you
Yeah.
think about that? Do you think that maybe some of the people who had no idea Diamond was missing telling you, oh yeah, I've seen her, you feel that those sightings were more credible?
Um, the only reason why I feel that they were credible is because there was so many of them. Like it was, if it would have been like one or two, like if it was just one or two and nobody else said anything, then I would have been like, well, I don't know. But because it was so many people and how they were so like, I saw her, like you saying on yours, like when you talk to the lady, the expression on their face,
Yes.
is what made me believe it. Like how they was like, oh my God, I saw her. It wasn't like, yeah, I think, yeah, I saw her, and, it was, I saw her, like they were really like serious about it, So that's what made me, and each person that I spoke to and that said they had sightings of her, they had that same expression. Like, yeah, I saw her, like, and that's what made me believe that it could have been. But then when I didn't personally see the lady that's supposed to look like her, my son saw her. And he was like, man, Mom, she looked just like Diamond. Like you would think she was Diamond. And I was like, oh, wow. So that was a little disappointing. I didn't even want to see her because I was just frustrated. I was frustrated because I was like, I just was hoping she was like right there, like thinking I'm going to just run into her. It's just too coincidental, though.
Yes. Yes.
It's too coincidental that not only did they say they saw her, they saw her with King. So even though it's a lady that looked like her, that still don't add up to her and King.
Right. Because she had been reportedly seen with King. There's another
Mm-hmm.
young lady who resembled her. However, you did get a lot of reports of sightings of not just Diamond being by herself. So that could be a simple mix-up. If there's another person in the Roseland area on the south side who looks like her, and people are saying, oh yeah, I've seen his face, but they're saying, no, we see her and remember her face along with this little boy.
Mm-hmm. And then the guy in that liquor store, that grocery store, he specifically said, he saw her and King. He said because when the white lady came in, they stood right by the door. They didn't even come all the way in. She said they both stood right by the door. And she said King was crying. And he gave her King a popsicle because he was crying. So he had some interaction with them. So, you know, he he had to, I don't know, if by him, give him a popsicle, he had to like really see him in order to give him, the popsicle and to see both of them. So
Okay.
I don't know.
So I want to talk about some of these. Well, I'll give a list of sightings, and then of that I jotted down, and then also I'm going to compare those sightings to the address listing I gathered for Diamond's father, Eugene Bynum. And I looked into the address listing, his previous and current residence.
Mm-hmm.
He has currently is residing at, and the previous residence he's resided at. So let me go over this. So I made a note that Diamond and King had been staying at the White Castle on 111th Street in Halsted in Chicago, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
There was another reported sighting of Diamond and King at the Checkers on 115th Street in Roseland. There was another reported sighting of Diamond and King at the Checkers on 119th and Normal Street. There
The
was,
Checkers where?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You said Checkers on 119th and what?
Normal Street. Normal. Normal
It's
Street.
not the Checkers over there.
It's not
It's a warehouse.
warehouse.
It was a
Okay.
warehouse. It's a grocery store called the Warehouse.
Oh, it's okay. That it was listed as in the publication that I was reviewing, which is the Indiana Missing Report or Indiana Missing Persons Report. That's where I learned of these various sightings, and I just made a note of what they reported. It was listed as a Checkers. They could have definitely just listed it as a Checkers and
Right.
not the grocery store. It could have been just kind of some miscommunication somewhere. But you can recall of a sighting at 119th and Normal Street. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was several sightings on 119.
And then
Mm-hmm.
another sighting at the Citgo gas station at 127th and Wood Avenue. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Then, most recently, a sighting that I somewhat confirmed. I mean, I just took the McDonald's manager word as, I just took her word as, something I found to be credible. So just taking what she said to me as a credible sighting. There was a McDonald's manager who's currently working at McDonald's and was working at the McDonald's 6 years ago, who told me she's seen your daughter. And this McDonald's is located at 11421 South Halsted Street in Chicago. It's in the Roseland community as well. There are sightings, also additional sightings of your daughter in Hammond, Indiana, and then briefly in Gary, Indiana, when hours after she first had been reported missing. So I looked at the previous address or the address history of Eugene Bynum, Diamond's father, and what was startling to me is that the areas your daughter had reportedly been moved to, had been seen walking around in with King, were areas Diamond's father had recently lived. Like they were in close proximity to areas her father lived or resided. I found that to be astounding. Like, why are they in Hammond and people were seeing them in Hammond? Eugene Bynum lived in Hammond. She graduated from Hammond High School. Why is that? That doesn't make sense to me if a stranger's involved. You get where I'm going? And then the Roseland. There's a Roseland address. A current address attached to Eugene Bynum Jr. Is he the age of 52? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in Roseland. He has a address in the Roseland community. His current address is 15 minutes away from the McDonald's I visited. Because I drove out to Roseland myself recently, attempting to track whereabouts.
But I remember him living on 115th, but it wasn't in Roseland.
Okay.
He lived on 115 West. Like it was past Halsted. It was way west.
Way west? Okay.
Yeah. It was like past Pulaski. And
Okay.
I don't know the exact address, but I know it was way west. I know he
Okay.
lived on 100. That's before he moved to Hammond. But I
Okay.
didn't know there were any current addresses in Roseland.
Yes.
It's a
And
current one.
it may be that the address is listed as a current address, but it was a former address. That's possible. That's definitely possible. It's listed as a current. It's listed as a current address, but it could have been a former address. I don't want to give his full address out. I
Right.
would say that the address is part of the address is on West 115th Street. I don't want to give the number, but
Right.
this I say Roseland. This is why I say Roseland. The address that's listed for Eugene, when I entered it into Google Maps, I'm looking at Google Maps right now. Like I got the addresses plugged in. When I typed in Eugene Bynum's either current or former address, it may be a former address, and I typed in the address to the McDonald's, the manager told me she remembers seeing Diamond at. It takes,
Did you put Eugene Bynum Jr.?
I'm sorry,
Did you put Eugene Bynum Jr.?
yes, Eugene Bynum Jr., age 52 years of age, and I have
Oh, okay.
other information that I looked into to confirm that I definitely had the right, you know, I don't want to put out so much, but there was other information I discovered that led me to believe that this is definitely the address history for Eugene Bynum Jr.
Mm.
I'm saying Roseland, and it could be that it's right outside of Roseland.
Right.
The address history, or at least the current address that Diamond's father is reportedly living at, is only 15 minutes away from the McDonald's Diamond was allegedly seen at, and from the Checkers. And it's only 15 minutes away. Hold on. I want to break this down for you. It's only 15 minutes away from the Checkers on 115th Street. It may be maybe a little bit more, maybe 16 minutes or 17 minutes away from the White Castle on 111th Street. But a lot of these signings, I just kept every address I saw. I would type in the signing of the address, the address attached to the sighting, and pretended I was about to take a drive out to Eugene's home, and typed in that address. And these sightings were within 15 to 20 minutes, give or take, away from that current address. That was something that I could not like looking at that. And I don't want to put anything in anybody and plant thoughts in someone's head, but that raised a lot of questions in my mind regarding who may have been involved or may have not been involved in the disappearance of Diamond, because it seems as if whoever is involved in Diamond's disappearance and in King's disappearance, we're talking about two individuals, they weren't trying to be too far away at any point from Eugene's residence and places he had lived. I found that to be remarkable.
Yeah, that was the weird part to me, too, because we used to live on 116th in Houston too. We lived off right next to it used to be a Pizza Hut where the Dunkin' Donuts is now. We used to live right there,
Okay.
and so Diamond was a little familiar with that area because we lived over there for so long. We actually lived on 116th at Halstead. We moved over there in like 2003, and we didn't move till like 2009. So we lived around there for like, was it 6 years? And so that would be like coincidental. And I just, when I was going around there, I was really familiar with the area anyway because I've lived over there for so long.
Yes.
You know, but that was kind of strange to me too. And I couldn't think of anyone that I wouldn't personally know that would take her and try to keep her from us. I mean, it's kind of weird, you know. But I've tried to think about it over and over and over in my head. Who do I know that could do something like that? I can't think of nobody that would possibly, you know, take them and just keep them. It just
And
don't make
I
sense.
want the audience to know that Diamond is a part of.
Hold on 1 second.
Go ahead. Diamond is a part of two family trees here, maybe more. I'm a part of several family trees. You have the Walker family tree, all right, and that is the Walker family tree derived from her mom's side of the family, and then you have the Bynum family tree. Okay, I think she'll be back in just a moment. So when we talk about family, there are different factions of Diamond's family, if that makes sense. Okay, I have my father's side of the family with various cousins, aunts, in-laws, etc. And then I have that I'm attached to my mother's side of the family, comprised of aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, etc. So that's just something to think about. I believe we were disconnected, myself and Miss Walker. We were briefly disconnected. There was some sound issues. I'll give her a moment to come back. But we have had a rather lengthy conversation tonight. We have. If you missed some of our conversation or something that you didn't quite get or understand, you are more than welcome to watch the replay. I will post this live stream. It will be posted. It will be posted to my Facebook page, published. I don't know how long I will have any Facebook pages or profiles that's strategically being taken down, away, whatever. So I will also be posting this conversation, a conversation that I've had, that I just had with Miss Walker, to a YouTube page or YouTube channel I recently created. The name of the channel was Missing, Lost, and Trafficked. So I definitely invite you to visit the channel, subscribe to the channel, and support Missing, Lost, and Trafficked. I'm not sure if Miss Walker will be back or able to rejoin this live stream tonight. I will say that I did discuss in depth my theory, and I won't go back over that in this live stream, regarding the connections I made between the various sightings of Diamond to the address listings, residential address listings for Diamond's father, which led me to a conclusion. I'm not certain who exactly is responsible for Diamond and King's disappearance. I'm not certain how many people have played a role in Diamond and King's disappearance. I'm confident in my belief that more than one person played a role in Diamond and King's disappearance. Although my belief has not been 100% confirmed. It has not been 100% confirmed. Yes, you can. Definitely message me. Anyone can message me. I'm getting a lot of messages, and screenshots, and yes. So, yes, do message me. If you have credible information to share, we're not discussing gossip and information that can't be verified. Diamond and King have been missing 6 years. And so it's very important the information you share is at least information that can be verified. Verifiable, right? Something that can't be denied, all right? And checked out as being fact. And so I'm going to post. I'm not sure if Miss Walker will be back or not. I don't think she will be able to come back on camera tonight. That's fine. And I understand if it's overwhelming discussing all of this or even upsetting. I definitely understand. I understand. If you, the viewers, have credible information to share regarding the disappearance of King Walker and Diamond Bynum, please, and thank you for doing so. Send that information over to missing, lost, and trafficked at gmail.com. That's missing, lost, and trafficked at gmail.com. The email is displayed underneath my name. And I also included in this live stream a aged, progressed photo of King Walker and a photo of Diamond Bynum. And please keep in mind, the truth is in the address. Have a great evening.